Hello friends and welcome back to Farmer's Wife Homestead. I'm Stacey if this is the first time we're meeting. Welcome back to my farmhouse kitchen. Today we are going to be making omelets. Omelets is something that it tends to be a scary kind of a dish, but it's actually very, very easy, and I'm going to show you a no-fail, perfect, easy recipe that you can make at home yourself. One, just a plain cheesy one. The next one is a bacon and sausage one and cheese, and the third one is a vegetarian with avocado, tomato, basil and a little bit of cheese as well. And you know, it's such a simple, quick kind of a meal that you can have for an easy dinner or a breakfast or whatever you like. And the fillings are, as long as they're pre-cooked, the sky's the limit. Now I've got some beautiful farm fresh eggs here, and I just want to show you the difference. I've got some new, I raised some new hens at the end of last season, so in the autumn, and they've started to lay. So this is their gorgeous little pullet eggs. So if you didn't know, young chickens lay smaller eggs and the older girls lay bigger eggs. Can you see the size difference between these two eggs? I'm going to pick this as a double yolker, at least a double yolker. So we're going to open this one up and have a look. So with my omelets, it tends to be 3 eggs is the perfect amount. It just depends on what size pan you're going to use. I use 4 with my small little pullet eggs. But it's up to you. If you want to make a small one, use 2 eggs, but you're just going to have to use a small pan. It's really important to use a non-stick pan if you can. I'm sure you could make it in a stainless steel if you know your stainless steel pan really well, but most of the people you will see will use a non-stick pan. Let's get straight into it. So the first one that we're going to make is just a plain easy cheese omelette. And you know, there's probably, you know, expert ways of making an omelette. I'm not an expert chef. I've not trained as a chef. I'm just a home cook, but this is how I make it, and I figure if I can do it, you can do it too. Let's go and open this egg. What's she gonna be? Double yolker. 2 beautiful yolks. Okay. That's that one, and then we'll just use one of the smaller eggs as well. Okay, so that's the equivalent of 3 eggs really. I'm going to put one more because I've been using 4. So I'm going to say that 1 egg was 2 eggs, and now I've put 2 small ones. Now the secret to, these are my my recommendations. The secret to a good omelette is to, like with a scramble, you might only just sort of mix it up about that much, and then through a scramble you will have some egg white showing. See, you can see the egg white still quite goopy in here, so that might be quite perfect for a scramble if that's the way you like a scramble. But with an omelette, you want to mix them very well and use a fork rather than a whisk. Okay, so just going to give this a really, really good mix. Now you're wanting to incorporate some air, but you're not making a souffle, but I quite like to get quite a bit of air into there. Now see how it's all just liquid now? There's no egg white goopiness. And you've got some bubbles on the top. So that's about perfect. Okay, now here's my non-stick pan. It is over here, it is a Hampton and Mason. I'm not sure the size. I'll just get a ruler just so you've got a reference. Okay, so that's about 20 centimeters wide. All right. I've got it on a medium-high heat at the moment because I'm just warming up this pan, and I'm just going to put, I don't know, about a tablespoon of butter. You can use oil if you prefer oil, if you want to make it, you know, cheaper or whatever, but I prefer to just use plain butter. Okay, so we're just going to let that sort of heat through. You don't want to burn the butter. And I am about to turn the pan down, so I'm just doing it just to get things started. And the other thing you'll need is a spatula. So this is a silicone spatula. You could use a rubber spatula, but this is the one that I have, and this is what I like. Okay, the other thing that I'm going to grab for this one is some Parmesan cheese. You could use cheddar cheese, you could use whatever cheese you like. I like to use my frozen Parmesan because it's already pre-grated. It's got a bit of salt in there, so it just helps to season the eggs as well. You'll note that I didn't season the egg mix. I will show you when I will season it. Okay, so I'm going to, so you want to cook the eggs sort of slowly. So I'm just going to turn that down to a medium heat. And I'm going to pop this egg mix in again. I'm just going to give it a quick more whisk. Right, don't waste that. See all that egg in there still? Just use your spatula and get everything else in, because look how much egg is in there. You wouldn't think there was a lot, but there is. Right, now you can put in a little bit of, I'm just going to use a little bit of flaky sea salt and some black pepper. If you put the pepper into when you're mixing it, it tends to just fall to the bottom, so put your pepper in now. Alright, so it's down to a medium heat now, and 4 eggs is quite a lot for this small pan, but that's okay, it's no problem. So what you want to do is just move the eggs around a little bit in the first, say, 20 seconds, 20 or 30 seconds. And I like to sort of drag from the outside into the inside. And just play around with your heat. Every stove is different too. I'm just going to turn mine up just a tad. Alright, you can see that the egg is starting to come together. I'm just going to do that one more time. Then what you want it to do is to start setting. Alright, so I'm just going to leave it alone for maybe 10 seconds. You've got all this runny egg sort of left, and what you're going to do is you're just going to pull the sides and then tip the egg so that all that runny egg moves into that space, and then sort of like pat it down. And then you're just going to keep doing it so all that runny egg sort of starts moving into place. The other thing you can do is just sort of like twirl it. So see what I'm doing? I'm just pulling it back and putting some of that runny egg in its place. Right, see there's still a bit of runny egg in there. Just once in a while sort of go around the edges there. The other thing you can do is just tip it up and run it around the side a bit, and then don't be afraid. So it's still got some runniness there. I'm going to grab some of that cheese, and as I said, you can use any cheese you like, but I'm just doing this because I'm being lazy, and put as much cheese in as you want. Right, that's looking perfect. Right, so you're now going to grab your spatula and you're just going to flip it over. Okay, just like that. And I like to sort of like press it down a little bit. And the heat of that egg is going to melt the cheese. And as I said, this is how I do it. And now I'm just going to flip this. Wish me luck. Perfect. Okay, you don't want to get too much colour on your egg, but you want to make sure that everything is cooked through. I'm turning that heat off now, and the residual heat is going to finish cooking that up. And there is the first omelette. I'm going to show you how I like to serve it. Also, just a side note, before we serve it, you can get your spatula and just have a look and see if all that runniness is cooked. You don't want to overcook them, otherwise your eggs turn rubbery. Alright, but they will continue to cook as they sit. There you go. Perfect, fluffy, cheesy omelette. I personally like to serve mine with a little beetroot relish on the side or HP sauce. Okay, I've been eating quite a lot of omelettes lately because my trigeminal neuralgia has been really, really bad. So I've needed soft foods. Okay. Yum. So simple and easy and so quick in the scheme of trying to make quick meals. And so tender and soft. You don't even need a knife. Just use a fork. See how fluffy? You can see the cheese on them in the middle. Yum. And as I said, you can have the inside a little bit on the runny side still, and it will make it even more fluffy. But you can have it cooked all the way through too. Okay, let's make the next recipe. Okay, for the second one, I have got one just normal sausage that I took out of its casing and then fried it up with one piece of bacon and just mashed it all and fried it until it was fully cooked. So that's what's going to go into this next one. As I said at the start, make sure that all your fillings are cooked unless it's a raw vegetable that doesn't need to be cooked as such. Like, I wouldn't put raw onion in there unless you liked raw onion, and I do. So yeah, so the next one is that. So I'm just going to get the eggs ready just like before. If you ever get shell into your egg, use the other part of the egg to pick it out. It's much easier than using your fingers. I'm just going to use 3 in this one. Because there's more filling, I'm using 3 eggs. Let my butter get a little bit too hot. So I've turned it down. Again, just go in and gently move the eggs about. Now I'm just going to stop moving it around too much and just let the little bit of the heat to set that rest of that egg. So we're going to go in with some cheese again, because who doesn't like cheese, right? And then I've got some of the bacon, and you just want to pop it on one side. Bacon and sausage, sorry. Right, that one's split, and that's fine. I let the egg get slightly a bit too cooked on that outside piece. Not sure if I'm going to be able to flip this one because it's broken. Let's give it a try. Perfect. That was because the pan was too hot. I didn't turn it down fast enough. So this is the troubleshooting part of the video. As you know, I don't edit out mistakes. It's not a fail because it's still a perfectly fluffy, beautiful omelette. Turn the heat off and just let the residual heat gently heat through the egg, the bacon and the sausage. I'll come back when it's ready for plating. Right, this is a more savoury option, so I love Good old HP sauce, just like a brown sauce. Barbecue sauce would work well. And just going to pop some on there. Here's the second. Let's give it a try. I've just been making myself just the cheese omelette because, you know, it's less to chew for me. So I haven't tried the sausage and bacon before. So let's give it a go. I forgot to season it. It's really nice even without the seasoning, because the cheese has a bit of salt in there anyway. Right, let's get a bit more of the sausage and bacon. That's really nice. Very savoury. Simple as, a little more filling. Let's move on to the last one, the veggie one. Okay, on to the third and final one. If you watched the macaroni salad video, you saw that I brought a basil plant, and I told you to cut it all off and then pop it on your windowsill and just keep watering it. This is it now. So it's just started to regrow. It took a little while to get to this point, but I paid, I don't know, $4 for the basil plant, and I can just keep it going and going and going. So and that was just from a supermarket, so that just goes to prove what I said, that it can be done. I've got the butter heating up, so I'm going to turn it down before I get it too hot. Okay, on to the next one. Again, just move it about gently. A little bit of salt. Some parmesan. Now put the parmesan all over. I've got some diced tomato, and I've just squeezed out the seed, the watery seed part. And I have a avocado that's been halved and just diced. I'm just going to pop that into the other half. Of course, if you don't like heated up avocado, you could always serve it on the side. You could pop spinach in here. I'm going to just grab a couple of leaves of that basil and pop that. I'm just going to turn the heat off as well. And grab some pepper. And there's the third beautiful omelette. Just if you do overcook, like as soon as you put the cheese on, turn the element off. Because if you do overcook, you can get a little bit of splitting, but that's okay. I think it's split just tiny bit there. But it is super soft and still fluffy. Wow, just delicious. Beetroot relish would be quite nice with this, or the HP sauce. I think the beetroot relish would be really nice with this one, or a nice tomato relish. I guess Trix is saying hello. Must be the piggies have come into the yard. Right, yum. Right, we'll give this one a try. Sorry, it's hard when there's working dogs. Right. I love the plain cheese one because it's simple flavors, but I actually think that this one's my favorite, the vegetarian. The creaminess of the avocado and the tomato and the basil is really nice. So this is going to be my lunch. Yum. I put, I had a little bit of each one, and then I've put them away, and then husband just went and put them between 2 pieces of bread for his lunch. Okay, I see why my dog was barking so intently. The huge boar is in our backyard. So I'm going to finish this video because he's going to try and get into the feed bins, the chicken feed bins, and I'll get him back in the pen where he's supposed to be. Thank you for joining me for today's video. I hope this gives you the courage to give it a go yourself. It's really important just to do that moving around just at the start and then leave it alone to sort of like form that crust, but do not have it too high, because you will get splitting and you will you know, like it just makes the eggs runny, rubbery. But yeah, that kind of colour is fine. You can just see light browning. That's beautiful. You just don't want it to go brown, so don't overcook them is what I'm trying to say. And if you don't overcook them, then it'll be no fail. Alright, thank you again, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you on the next one. Alright, bye for now.